A former Philadelphia police officer sentenced to prison time for the deadly shooting of an unarmed man back in 2017. And Kelly, you spent the day in court here. What can you tell us?
Well, Jason, former officer Ruch was sentenced to 11.5 to 23 months behind bars today. The DA's office is calling this the first jury trial conviction of an officer for an on-duty killing in recent city history. But unlike what prosecutors asked for today, the judge's sentence was far below the state sentencing guidelines for a voluntary manslaughter conviction. Family members of Dennis Plowden Jr. walked out of Philadelphia's Criminal Justice Center disappointed and defeated. A judge sentenced former Philadelphia police officer Ruch Jr. to 11.5 to 23 months on voluntary manslaughter charges for shooting and killing Plowden in December 2017.
I think the number one reason why us as a family was disappointed because who waits 5 years to come to court to hear 11 to 23 months?
Judge Barbara McDermott said to a packed and emotional courtroom she considered Ruch's behavior before and after the tragic shooting, saying, quote, "Nothing he is going to do in prison is going to make him a better person," and that looking at what started this, she says, Plowden was the one that created the danger. Prosecutors have said following a high-speed car chase, Plowden got out of the crashed vehicle on the ground, seated, when Ruch shot him once through his raised hand in the head. Plowden was not armed. They accused Ruch and other officers of lying about the circumstances and asked for 7.5 to 15 years. Ruch's attorney, David Mishak, says his client was asked to help a homicide detective solve a case, though police later determined Plowden's vehicle had no connection to the case.
He was placed into a very dangerous situation. The verdict in this case reflected that he overreacted, but he's very thankful and grateful that the court considered him, his background, and his character.
Judge McDermott said she received dozens of letters from Ruch's family, friends, members of PPD, and people in the community, his neighbors and wife, among those who read emotional testimony, as did Plowden's mom, wife, and sister through tears. Ruch broke down multiple times and briefly spoke, saying he thinks about Plowden's family every day.
You need to own your mistake. He did not do that. My brother died in vain.
Now, in a written statement today, DA Larry Krasner said in part, quote, state sentencing commission recommendations would have suggested a minimum 42-month sentence. Again, today's sentence was far below that. His office is now reviewing their options, including whether or not to appeal. Jason.
Kelly Rule for us live. Thank you very much, Kelly.